Anywhere the struggle is great, the level of ingenuity and inventiveness is high. The eternal words of Ethiopian economist and former head of Ethiopian Commodity Exchange, Eleni Gebremadian, aptly capture the current struggle to achieve a productive, effective, and friction-free livestock delivery system in Nigeria. The crisis rocking the country's livestock delivery chain is multidimensional. From the perennial deadly violence farmers and herdsmen visit on themselves to the lack of access to animal protein by the greater majority of Nigerians and its high cost, the troubles are many. The crisis in Nigeria's dairy industry is further compounded by the contradictory policies on dairy importation and efforts to grow the local industry. These challenges may be daunting, but they have not prevented some determined investors in the livestock industry from demonstrating the highest level of ingenuity and inventiveness in developing crisis-free, effective and productive models of livestock development in Nigeria. One of such investors is LNZ Integrated Farms in Kano. On Farmers Market this week, we explore the LNZ dairy value chain and its products, as well as its livestock development model that has been successfully operated in Kano for over 5 years.
Farmers markets, changing attitudes towards agriculture, promoting Nigeria's agricultural prowess, celebrating successes, identifying challenges and advocating policies and programs to grow Nigeria's agro-economy.
Kano, Nigeria's second largest commercial city and the capital of the most populated state in the country, according to the 2006 census. Kano is also home to one of Nigeria's largest dairy farms, LNZ Integrated Farms. Located in Fari village in Kura local government area just outside the Kano metropolis, LNZ Farms is a producer of the highly acclaimed LNZ range of dairy products. With different flavors of yogurt and ice cream, fresh milk, butter, and a local delicacy called Furadanono, LNZ is a household name for dairy products. LNZ Dairies is a product of passion. The passion of a man determined to change the fortunes of the livestock sector of Nigeria's agriculture. A former banker turned farmer, Alhaji Muhammadu Abubakar.
They are all product of artificial insemination. Apart from this,
there is no special story about Alhaji Abubakar's foray into agriculture, apart from the fact that he has always been fascinated by animal husbandry, especially cattle breeding.
Like every entrepreneur will he wants to start a business. And I just thought at the time that I need to do a business. I didn't want to continue working as a paid person. Let me start paying salaries. That's be an entrepreneur. And I felt dairy was what I had passion for.
LNZ Integrated Farms started in 1999 with a herd of 29 local breed cows known as Sokoto Gudali. It did not take long for Alhaji Abubakar to realize that it was almost impossible to sustain a dairy farm on local herds of cattle.
You cannot go and buy a good cow that is crossbred that can give you high milk yield just as obtained elsewhere in another clime, where if you're a dairy farmer, you want to start a herd, you can go and buy a pregnant, high yield high milk yielding cow, and then you bring into your farm and you wait 3 months, it calves and starts giving you milk. So the cycle is shortened and you almost immediately start making profit. So in Nigeria, if you want to start, where do you go and get your seed animal? It's virtually impossible. So you need to be a breeder yourself. What it means is the only cattle available are the local cows. And the local cows' yield cannot sustain a dairy business. The average yield of a local Nigerian cow is about 2 liters max. And for you to be in business, dairy business, at least yield-wise, you need to have about 10 liters.
This led to the introduction of imported exotic breeds like the Holstein Friesian. Through artificial insemination and natural mating, LNZ Farms has been developing a crossbreed of cows with local trait and the pedigree of Holstein Friesian for almost 2 decades. The effect of this is that LNZ Farms is breeding cows that are resistant to various tropical diseases and can produce much more milk than any of Nigeria's full local breeds. By doing this, LNZ is solving one of the greatest challenges of dairy production in Nigeria, the very poor milk yield of local cattle.
What we started was to now build a local stock, and then we upgraded through crossbreeding to get a crossbreed that will withstand our harsh tropical environment, withstand the tropical diseases, but give us a higher yield than our local cows. So we improved the bloodline over time. We have achieved about 85%. And I think from our experience, this is the percentage bloodline, exotic bloodline, that should be maintained for you to be able to avoid the risk of diseases and sudden deaths.
Today, LNZ Farms has developed a special breed that is much bigger, healthier, and produces an average of 20 liters of milk per day.
We are doing crossbreeding. So with time, when we are maintaining the gene from generation to generation, we are upgrading the gene of the animal. So those that are having the beta gene, for now they are giving us like 22 liters to 23. And there are some that are still giving us 10, 15 liters as for now.
A day?
Yes. And the local that we bought, you can, some will just give us 3, 4, and it's because we give them good feeding. But you compare it with Fulani cows, we give like 2 liters or 3 liters.
To achieve such high milk yield, the herd is properly nurtured and reared in a conducive environment. At LNZ Farms, a highly nutritious diet, rich in vitamins, has been developed to improve the quality of the herd. Most of the feed is prepared on the farm.
Now, we feed the cow with concentrate in the morning. We formulate TMR, especially during the dry season, when there's scarcity of the feed. We buy corn stalk, we have a cotton seed cake. Also in formula, we formulate what we call TMR, that's total missing ration. So we formulate that, we give them the afternoon and the evening.
And for fresh grass, the cows are led into this grazing paddock just outside their pen. Apart from this, LNZ is the first dairy farm in Nigeria to propagate exotic grass to feed its cows. This is a Napier grass field on the LNZ farm. It is a highly nutritious variety imported from Kenya, a very good source of bulk feed for the cattle, and Napier grass can be planted and harvested in just 6 weeks.
These grasses will use small spaces to produce high yield of foliage. So what it means is, if our local grass can give you a kg per square meter, this exotic grass can give you, for instance, 10 kg per square meter. So it reduces the utilization of land. I think this is what we need.
Usually, it is a difficult task to raise exotic cows in the tropical regions of the world like Nigeria. This is because they are conditioned to thrive in temperate environment. But the genes of the local Sokoto Gudali in the LNZ herd makes it easy for the cows to adapt even to the scorching heat of Kano.
Cool air is coming in here, so the hot air trapped here is now pushed out.
Apart from this, their pen is specially built to keep out the heat. When it is really hot, water sprinklers installed in their pens keep them cool.
The exotic breeds, they are more concerned or more affected by high humidity. So when you have a combination of high humidity and high temperature, that's why you have a killer environment. But if it's only high temperature with dry air, as obtains here, so all you need to do is probably cool the environment by having a fogging system around that will sprinkle water on the animals directly. And if you're able to have a very high roof, as you see in our shed, so the warm air, the cool air coming in now sends the warm air out through the vent, and then there's continuous circulation.
This special care combines with their highly nutritious diet to make the LNZ herd highly productive. Milk from the LNZ dairy farms forms part of the 3,000 liters the company needs every day to process its dairy products, but it is hardly enough. The high demand for the products necessitated a diversification of the company's sources of milk supply.
Our strategy is to get as much outgrowers as possible, so that we will be reducing our involvement in production, but providing a kind of extension service to those outgrowers that will give us milk and will continue to improve on our processing facilities and then marketing. It's not everybody that will produce milk, process and get into the market. So there should be kind of a division of labor. The reception was overwhelming. Then we now came back and as a strategy, we now started to emphasize on processing. We're not relegating our production because we've achieved a lot and we have seen a system that works. So we now said, okay, let's convert our own production into a kind of a demonstration farm where we will now be telling others to come and see how it is done to get high yield and get more value.
This need has not only opened up a market for commercial dairy farmers in Kano, who now have an off-taker for their fresh milk. It has also created a business model for Fulani pastoralists, for whom cattle breeding is a culture. The seasonal movement of the Fulani pastoralist is a way of life, a tradition that has become a major source of friction between them and farmers on the routes they ply.
You see, if you look at our source of milk, it comes from two main sources. We have those at the bottom of the pyramid, that's the herdsmen that at lowest, and then you have the commercial dairy farmers, which is at the top. So we don't have issues with the commercial dairy farmers because this is something you go into as a business. The major challenge is from the herdsmen, that they are doing it as a tradition, and they move around. So if they move around, in the process of that movement, they cause chaos, and chaos is visited on them as well. So it doesn't benefit anybody. So our system here, which we put in place, is a win-win situation. It benefits us because we get good source of milk. It benefits the herdsmen because they don't have to go and cause trouble anywhere. Because one of the fundamental things they need to do is to become sedentary. Because once you move, we can't chase you to go and start collecting milk from you. And then it benefits any other person because you don't expect crisis to come to you, because these guys are now stable and they have gotten an economic activity that makes them to stay in one place.
This model has given birth to a few settlements for Fulani pastoralists, and Angwala is one of them. A new and a unique settlement located in the Kura local government area of Kano State. A permanent home for over 100 Fulani pastoralist families. In Angwala, the Fulani community is fast learning a new way of life and trade tricks. They are building permanent homes and living in the same location all year round. It is a weekday morning. Members of this Fulani community are about their normal daily activities, and this mostly involves dairy production. The women are milking the cows. In the past, it would have been time to take to the streets of Kano looking for customers in need of fresh milk or the fatty milk extract called manshanu in the local parlance. But not the Fulani wives of Angwala. In fact, these women do not hawk milk. They do not need to. This is because L&Z operatives collect milk from the women every day. All they need to do is milk the cows and wait for operatives of the company to take delivery of it. It's a cooperative model that has protected the Dangwala pastoralists against the dangers of cattle herding in the last 5 years. Apart from off-taking their cow milk, L&Z is also providing extension services to the Fulani community. The result is obvious. Their cows are bigger, healthier, and yield much more milk than ever before.
Before, our women, then they come cow milk. After committing cow milk, they cooking. After cooking, they carry go sell. They carry go market, they go sell. After that, they come back. Before they come back, Tammy don't go. Bona will thank God. We thank El-Anzir. El-Anzir, they go come for our house, carry our cow milk. They pay our woman their money. Then their house. They never suffer. After that, El-Anzir, they don't show us how we train our cow or how we go get plenty milk. Before one cow, she never eat. We go get 1 liters or how liters. The one we go get 2 liters, 1 liters before. We get 2 liters to 3 liters to 3.5 liters. You see, we don't get. She don't open eyes for us. Before, we carry, we know they stay one place. We should live here today. Tomorrow we dey decide. Last tomorrow we dey decide. We no get this man. So now we don't sit down. We don't build our house. We don't get our own line.
The model has become so established that cattle herders outside the cooperative take their milk directly to the factory. At 220 naira for each kilogram of milk they supply, it is a guaranteed source of income. However, milk from within and outside L&Z dairy farm is not certified for processing until it passes all the numerous tests conducted by highly qualified personnel with modern equipment to ascertain its quality.
This is where we receive the milk, either from our farm or from our cooperatives. When the milk arrives at this spot, before we receive them, there are certain parameters or tests we carry out to ensure a good quality of the milk. Because one thing we need to understand is you cannot get a quality milk at the end of your processing from a bad milk.
We look at the way the milk is looking, how fresh it is, the appearance, the smell. Then we go ahead and do what we call the alcohol test, where we use alcohol to test with a little part of the milk. We test and see whether there is a clot or precipitation, which means there's a spoilage or high bacteria count in it. Then there's another test we call clot on boil test, which we do at the point of collection. Then by the time they transport it into the processing, coming to the collection area in the farm, we also, after the first test that we do at the point of collection here also, before we put them into our tanks, we undergo the same kind of test. And we go further again, we have another test we call the lactoscan test, which is the milk analyzer. That gives us the fat content, the solid non-fat, whether there is added water or what have you. So that is what we do before processing.
Once certified, the milk is received into this fully automated plant where the processing begins. This is the area where the milk is packaged into different dairy products.
In LNZ, we have various products that we produce using our fresh milk. We have fresh milk, we have yogurt, drinking yogurt, we have fura de nuno, we have ice cream, and we have butter and low-fat yogurt. We have a whole lot of products in LNZ.
Even though the factory has an installed capacity of 24,000 liters per day, it only processes 3,000, and all the LNZ dairy products are scooped up in no time.
Most of the yogurt you find in town, they are made from powdered milk. Ours is strictly from fresh milk. That's from raw milk, which we pasteurize, homogenize, and then ferment into yogurt or leave it as fresh milk. And the nutritional value is very high, especially when we talk about fresh products compared to what is being imported or what has maybe stayed over for over 6 months. So for the qualitative aspect, I believe LNZ is successful in the market because of the freshness and because of the quality aspect that process it goes through.
The LNZ model is a demonstration of how the yawning gaps in Nigeria's dairy sector can be filled. It provides the solutions Nigerians seek to make animal protein more accessible and affordable, as well as the creation of the much needed jobs through the development of the livestock value chain. But to make a success of these, the country's livestock development policy must be clearly defined, and relevant government agencies must work in harmony to achieve the set goals.
While other countries are protecting dairy industries by raising tariff, and Nigeria is protecting the juice industry, the rice industry, others by raising tariff, you can't believe the dairy products, we are charging the lowest tariff. I have seen a proposal now, as I'm talking to you, that they are even reducing it further to 5% to make sure that we can't operate. But this is not by the Ministry of Agri. So it's because of lack of synergy. So what is happening? Ministry of Agri is promoting dairy development. Industry and Commerce is promoting investment. Finance is investing revenue. There must be a time where all of them will come down and say, okay, what is the strategic interest of Nigeria? if you look at dairy, okay, is it revenue that should drive our policy on dairy, or local content and forex savings? These are all things that need to be looked at by intelligent people, and then come up with a unified policy that will encourage this. But when this agency is doing this without what others think, the other one is doing what is doing without thinking of what others, then there will be confusion. And this is the situation we are in dairy development now.
That's Farmers Market for this week.
You can join the conversation or watch this program and other editions of Farmers Market whenever you want to. Just go to our website www.farmersmarketng.com. For feedback and sponsorship considerations, please contact us on 0809 566 0090. Email us on info@farmersmarketng.com. Follow us on Twitter @farmersmarketng and like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/farmersmarketng. Farmers Market returns same time, same station next week.